Hello there, and welcome to another video where we have a look at some maps coming in Project Caesar. And this time, of course, as you can see in front of us, we are looking at Arabia. And I feel like this is an area of the world that is not really played as much as it kind of should be. And I'm just going to bring up an image from EU4 so that we know what we're looking at as a comparison. And this image was taken from a YouTube video, so I apologize that it's not framed exactly the right way, but you can see all the bloody countries anyway. And, well, I want to just point out my personal favorite tag here is the Rassids. I think the Rassids are a really fun tag to play. Not really too bothered about, like, Hormuz and Oman. Rassids was where it was at for me. I know a lot of people love playing as Najd as well. But I still think this area is not exactly the most well represented when it comes to playtime for people. And, well, the hope, I guess, is that this is going to change that. However, I will say, kind of sad that we have no Rassids. And I'm not saying, oh, yes, change the map to get more tags, even if it's not, historically accurate. Like, obviously, it should stay historically accurate. It's just, I'm a little bit disappointed that there is no Rassids, because I liked them. I liked them quite a bit. So yeah. Anyway, let's get in and see what we have going on in Arabia. Hello everyone, welcome to another developer diary for map lovers. That is in fact all of us here. We do in fact love maps here. This is the second this week after the review of Poland, Ruthenia, and the Baltic. Hooray! We're taking a look at the lands of Arabia. So let's start without further ado. So, countries. This week, you have two country maps. One without the coloured wastelands for clarity, and one with them under the spoiler button. Let's have a look at it. And that's... Okay, so the main differences... Shamar changes quite a bit. Jawawids changes quite a bit. Can I do it like this? I can. Okay. Yemen gets a little bit of a filling in. But really the changes are much in the north. The Jarwinids, especially, getting helped out, let's say, by colouring in the wastelands. That's a good question, actually, that I just thought of. What is your preference for coloured wastelands? Do you like to keep it off so that you have a more accurate overview over what lands you control, like we have here? Or do you prefer, like I do, to have it coloured in? The main... I mean, I know that EU4 has coloured wastelands as an option, but I would say that it is a bit less visible because there's fewer wastelands that you're going to be, surrounding and such. But for those of you who have played Imperator, first of all, great taste. I applaud. But also, you will know that there is a lot more wastelands. As a big fan of Macedon and the Greece region, I have very much fond memories of colouring in the wasteland. That's a terrible way of putting that. But yeah, no, you ended up colouring in quite a lot of wastelands if you had that setting on, and I do think it looked a lot better. Persia fans as well would have seen a lot of that. Either, having no wastelands coloured in and it looking a little bit ugly, in my opinion, or colouring in the wastelands and it looking real frickin' nice. But anyway, let's close this out and continue to read. It's because Project Caesar has several layers to portray a simulation of a believable world. Also, I skipped, so let's go back up again. You might also wonder why there isn't a third one with the Societies of Pops for the region. That's because Project Caesar has several layers to portray the simulation of a believable world. If you remember, one of our design pillars. A couple of weeks ago, we presented the Societies of Pops as a new type of country. But if you go back to Tinto Talks number 4, the government overview, Johan mentioned the different types of government, which you now know are for settled countries. One of them is tribal, which we think makes a good representation of the most complex and organized tribal societies, which have some estate-like features while keeping some other tribal features. Therefore, the way we've decided that fits better to portray the simulation of the Arabian Peninsula is having a divide between those countries that are monarchies, Mecca, Yemen, Oman, Ormuz. Is this Hormuz, or is... Oh no, it is just Ormuz. Okay, fair enough. And the Jawanids, and those that are tribal, the rest of them. An interesting feature of the latter is that their lands will be full of tribesman pops, making the tribal estate the most important one to manage. As a final note, I'd like you to understand that this is the interpretation for the simulation of the game, although it might not be the only one, as it happened with the discussions about which European countries should be decentralized with several subjects and which shouldn't. The good news regarding this is that we will be open to feedback and making changes as usual, but also that this setup can easily be changed through the script of the game, making it completely moddable after the game is released, so there could potentially be mods making Inner Arabia covered by societies of pops instead of tribal settled countries, if you really don't like or agree with their interpretation, or just prefer it to be different. That's really cool. Okay, so Mecca, Yemen, Oman, Ormuz, and Jarwanids. Mecca, Yemen, Oman, Ormuz, Jarwanids. I don't think I missed any. And then all of these guys in the middle, so Harb, Muharir, Otaiba, Catan, Subay, Dawasir. Was Dawasir one of them? It was not. All of these could potentially become, if there's a lot of feedback against it, or if you want to change it via modding, could very easily be converted into being the societies of pops instead of these tribal nations. I imagine that also goes the other way around as well. So the places where we've seen a lot of a lot of societies of pops, we could turn them into very, very simply into these tribal nations instead, if that is your preference. Especially, I imagine that would be great because societies of pops are not playable. They're just not playable. You cannot play as them. And for some regions of the world, that might not be very cool. And I would like to maybe play as one of these countries. Being able to turn them into tribal nations, evidently or allegedly pretty simply, easily in fact, that I think that's a really good thing. That's a really good thing. That option is there. Maybe it could also be put into the game options as like societies of pops. Do you want them to be unplayable, but also just using the societies of pop system, or do you want them to be playable and also be tribal estates or tribal countries? I feel like that might be a good option to have as a game rule. But let me know what you guys think on that one. As for dynasties, among the dynasties of the region, you might find some old acquaintances, such as the Rasulids of Yemen or the Nabani of Oman, while also having a bunch of new ones. And not a week without a bug, of course. The Al-Al prefix is an error. Where have we got Al-Al? Al-Al Magamai. Nice. As those dynasties are using a locative, which is mixed with the second one from the location, we'll have that fixed. Makes sense. Locations now, and you get a very good idea of where the wastelands is. This southern Arabian desert is crazy. But also, very important to note, there is no land connection that you can make between Yemen and Oman without going north first. The southern coast is uninhabited, uninhabitable, unconquerable, uncolonizable. It's just a literal desert wasteland. You're not building here. That's very important strategically. I mean, we had a similar situation in Imperator Rome, but it was uncolonizable, but you could still march through it. This is a very big decision here, having this be, intraversable, really. Very interesting indeed. We've got some more detailed location maps as well that we can have a gander through. Density, especially in this Yemen region, is really nice to see. Reminds me very much of Imperator Rome, of course. That amount of granularity is welcome. I like it. Locations of the region with more detailed maps under the spoiler button for the different sections. Makes sense. Alright. Provinces. The Lila Desert, I guess, is the name of it. I don't know if that's still the name of it, or it is. If it isn't, I have no idea. But even so, this is just a whole big-ass province of desert and, I guess, just wastelands, or they have names. Makes sense. Fair enough. As for areas, we got the Najd, the Yemen, the Oman. I think that's Oman. Oman Sea is a little bit over it, but it's probably Oman. Bahrain, Al-Samar, and Hejaz regions. Terrain map mode. I was about to say it's very boring, but No, we do only have arid. Or if it's especially cold, we have cold arid in a couple of mountains. As for the topography, lots of flatland, plateaus here, some hills, a few mountains, especially in Yemen. And then for vegetation, a lot of desert, some sparse, some grassland. Is that a forest I spy? No, it's a wood. There's like a couple of woods. If you are going to be, trying to build a navy out of here, those two locations are going to be quite important. You might notice that most of Arabia is an arid, desertic plateau. The only exception to this is the fertile mountain valleys in Yemen, which is known as Eudaimon Arabia, or Arabia Felix. This is what I know it as from Imperator. Natural harbour time, and there's not very many. We got some around. Kuwait is like here, isn't it? So this is just like the delta, I guess, for the Euphrates and Tigris rivers. And then we've got some as well down around Yemen. Much better ones down there, of course. Very cool. Culture-wise, we have not as big a split as I was expecting, really. These are a little bit too monolithic for my liking. But I imagine that is a work-in-progress situation. Culture division of the region is quite interesting, as it's divided into several Arabic-speaking people. And for those that might wonder, yes, Socotra is its own culture, Socotri, which is right here. We still have to add some minorities here and there, though, so we'll take the opportunity to do it during the map review. Yep, this is what I expected. That is still a bit in work in progress. But yeah, Yemeni, we got Najd, Hijazi, Omani, Khaliji, Bahrana. Cool. Religions. There is a split. I was not expecting that. We have all three. I say all three. I'm pretty sure there's more than that, but we have three different Islamic variants here. We've got the Sunni is the major power here. We've got some Shiites. We also have some Ibadis in Oman. Very cool. The religious division of Arabia is also interesting, having Sunni, Shiite, and Ibadi majorities spread across the peninsula. We're yet to address the minorities, which were not ready for the Tinto map, so we'll show what that looks like on the map and review as well. By the way, we might have to do some work in the coming weeks regarding Islam, as one of the things that I think we may tweak is the colouring, as Ibadi is too similar to Shiite. Yes, I agree, that is a little bit too close. I think it's a good opportunity to ask for your preferences about the colouring of different branches of the Islamic faith. I would say make Sunni a little bit more like a Najdi green. Oh, Najd doesn't exist. Make it a bit like this. And then, obviously... Well, there, you got 3 greens on this map already. You got 4 greens, actually. You got the Mustafids either as well. But I'd say this darker green here could be for Sunni. Then we've got this more vibrant one for Shiite. And then maybe this paler one for Ibadi. Or even this one for Ibadi. Like, there's enough shades of green to fit all 3 in without having them be incomprehensibly similar. Raw materials. There are a lot of dates, just as a top glance. Lots of dates, lots of livestock, some wheat around the place. And then down here we've got a bit more of variance. We have some dyes here as well. We've got some silk, alum, some salt. We found our medicaments, which is useful because I'm a little bit in need right now. I don't know if you can hear. I've got I'm still a bit sick and running short of breath. But dates, livestock, horses, and some wheat and sand. Some sand. Yes. Make for a healthy economy if you're a tribal country, I guess. Jokes aside, the desertic clans of northern and central Arabia have more simple resource distribution, while Yemen and Oman, on the other hand, have quite rich resources, such as pearls, alum, copper, dye, silk, and coffee. Who doesn't like a good coffee? Me. I'm not a coffee fan. But actually, yeah. There's only one... I mean, that's probably more than one location. That's maybe like 2 or 3 locations. Making coffee. I would have expected way more. Way more. Isn't this where coffee comes from? Isn't this like its origin? I was expecting way more than that. Maybe there will be a way that you can build coffee plantations basically all over the place. And this is just the RGO. But yeah, I was expecting a little bit more than that. Markets, we have the Mecca, Adan, Hormuz, Al-Hassa, and Al-Hajar. I'm butchering these pronunciations. I apologize. Markets. 5 market centers present in the region. Coupled with the resource in the previous section, the control over Aden and Hormuz will be strategically relevant as it was historically. As for population, 1.6 million for Yemen, 222,000 for Oman, 776,000 for Mecca. Really, though, yeah, Yemen is the absolute big power in the region, I guess, other than, 16, 1700 billion million Mamluks over here. Might as well be, because the difference there is stark. But yeah, that is a huge population there for Yemen. We're going to have a look at some detailed population maps as well. 0 people right here. Just you need to be aware of that. But yeah, looking here, we got some pretty high populations in the 40,000 range. Surprisingly, along the coast here, there's not much. But yeah, all of this coast here, 39,000, 45, 44, 46, 43. Like, the populations here are really, really high. I would definitely like to see a gradient map for this to show population gradients. I know there's issues that basically having China on the map makes everything else just red population. I guess India as well makes everything like red population, but it'd be nice to be able to limit it, like, by region, potentially. Like, seeing if you just have the entire Arabian Peninsula as a selected thing and then have the gradient there from, highest being green, lowest being red or black even. Something like that would be really nice to see. This week there aren't almost issues with the population of the region, so we're able to show it to you. Because last week I was not able to share, or they were not able to share with us the population in the region. The entire region has around 4.5 million pops, which are unevenly distributed. Yemen has 1.6 mil, Mecca 770,000, making for more than half the total, while a good chunk of it belongs to the Mamluks that control the area around Medina. And that's all for the week. For the next one, good news! We finished the feedback review of Anatolia, and therefore we'll post it on Monday. Fantastic, looking forward to that. That way it'll make it a week without a Tinto Talks more bearable. Yes, because unfortunately we will not have Tinto Talks on Wednesday. They have a holiday. On Friday, we're going to be looking at Iran and the Caucasus. I'm looking forward to that. Very important region in this period, of course. It will not. Will it include Timur? I'm pretty sure he comes from. What is the country that he comes from? I can't remember. I think it begins with a C, but I'm blanking. Will that include them? Because that technically is Iran, so maybe we'll get a little bit of information about that. But yeah, this is actually a really large amount of area to cover, but looking forward to that. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I will be always interested to hear your thoughts. Which one of these countries are you interested in playing? Personally, I think Yemen might be a pretty fun nation to try. Because yes, sure, you start with the most population in Arabia. 1.6 million. No one in Arabia has that much. But then you've got the Mamluks right here with a gigaton of population, 10 times your population. So there is still a huge challenge up there for you. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I will see you tomorrow for the responses that we got to the incredible dev diary that we got on Wednesday. Yeah, I will see you then. Bye-bye.